Welcome to the Work Podcast, where we're all about unlocking the secrets to success in the world of business careers.
I'm Leslie,
And I'm Timots.
and we're your hosts for today's episode. This episode would be the last installation of the Work Podcast, and we hope that you gained valuable insights from our previous two episodes. But don't worry, as the learning does not end there. Tune in to gain more information that we're sure would be beneficial for your future careers.
So today naman, no, we're diving into the topic naman of risk and knowledge. Last episode kasi, di ba, we talk about excellence and knowledge. So yung previous guest natin, Max Guanzon, he talked about his journey of pursuing excellence in the university and the workplace, which I'm sure a lot of us have related to. But as we continuously navigate this journey, we'll come across different challenges, diba, Leslie?
Yes, tama nga, and I can only agree. Kaya in this episode, we'll be exploring how our last but certainly not the least guest speaker, Jammer Locson, managed and addressed the challenges and risks he faced both as a student and now a working professional. Jammer is a proud alum of UP Diliman's College of Business Administration, and he graduated magna cum laude. Wow! And we're thrilled to have him here to share his insights with us.
Now, Gemar, welcome to the show, Gemar. So, can you please introduce yourself and share the story of your career journey with our work listeners?
Okay, I am Jmar Loczon. I came from the province of Isabela. Uh, had some senior high school in Taguig and then eventually moved to UP Diliman. Chose UP over Ateneo with full scholarship, and that's I think one of the key risks that we'll talk about later on. But okay, I'm now a manager at the Longhash Ventures, a venture capital firm that's based in Singapore. And at my work, where we're navigating a lot of risk in terms of the startups when we invest in, the macroeconomic sentiment, let's say whatever's happening in the US, China, anything global sentiment would affect all our prices and our valuations. And yeah, that's about my work and some stuff about my ACADS and my life. I am a nine-time case competition champion during my undergraduate life. I was also Gawad Chancellor sa Natatanging Mag-aaral finalist alongside Max Guanzon. So, di kami naka-final 5 pero we're in the final 10 to 13. So yun, and some other stuff. I also do or watch K-dramas, some AI stuff in YouTube, and what else? I also run half marathons on my side. So that's me.
Wow, it sounds like you've had like quite the journey. Pero we're very honored to have you here today and learn from your experiences nga and insights.
Yep. Happy to be here also.
Okay, thank you, Jamar, for that. So, in everything we do naman, di ba, there are always risks and trade-offs. So, we must be used to it by now. But in the context of our career and even in the academe, which most of us deem as things that would greatly affect how we live the rest of our lives, these risks are magnified. This is why we're here today para mabigyan kayo ng guidance and knowledge that we hope will help you mitigate or at least manage these risks.
Yeah, we're so lucky to be getting that guidance and inspiration from a business professional, Jamar, who faced these challenges himself and as we heard nga, came out victorious.
Perfect. Okay, without further ado, no, Jamar, let's now dive deep into our topic for today, risk and knowledge. Now, for our first question, no, like, para lang to start this conversation, let's define risk. So, how do you personally define risk, and how has your perception of risk evolved from being a student to a professional now?
Okay, yeah. I won't give you the Google definition of risk. So in my early days when I was a student, parang I see risk as anything that can harm me, anything that is has the potential to bring a net negative effect into my life in total or in any aspect of my life. So how has it changed from all throughout my life stages, I used to think na it's always a matter of prevention than cure. Na parang dapat bago ka pa mag-suffer, dapat na-prevent mo na yan even beforehand. Pero while undergoing some courses in NCBA, particularly BA 133, it's about investments and risks and insurance. Parang it's not always a matter of prevention. Sometimes, minsan, just mitigating the risk. Sometimes, tatanggapin mo na lang na meron yung risk na yun and just work your life coexisting with that risk. So that's how I evolve my perspective in terms of risk na pwede naman pala siyang tanggapin or parang pwede naman pala mag-coexist alongside risk and not necessarily eliminate it into zero. Uh, Now, and as a professional, um, I see risk as an opportunity. Okay. So we are in the business of asymmetrical bets, 'di ba? Asymmetric, parang konti lang yung puhunan pero yung kita is super laki. Ganun. So, we're in the business of investing in small startups nung itlog pa lang sila in the hopes na magiging dinosaurs rar sila in the future. So, yeah, that's the evolution, the widening of how I define risk.
Gets naman. I like how you said na parang asymmetrical yung ginagawa nyo ngayon to what you hope your like ventures will become. Kasi parang when I hear asymmetrical, I think about like asymmetrical information, which I think relates din to risk na right now we don't have lot of information. Pero yeah, we will learn to live with the risks. Yan. To put
Yep, yep.
to put that definition into context nga, kasi we know that navigating college is not a walk in the park. Can you share a significant risk you took as a student and how it impacted your educational journey?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I'll talk on multiple narratives. One is the risk of choosing a degree and a school from senior high school to college. Number two would be the sacrifices I made. When everything is exploding, parang academics, extracurricular, one, two, three. I needed to sacrifice extracurricular two and three. And yun, that's my second narrative. So yun, let's navigate yung first narrative. January every year usually nagre-release yung Ateneo and then usually and I got in with full scholarship. Then after a while, parang April Fool's Day, April 1, na-release yung UPCAT results and then I eventually got in. And then about 4 days after graduation na namin sa senior high school. And then umupo ako sa isang Vista Mall sa Taguig to do a SWOT analysis or a cost-benefit analysis. Okay, Ateneo ba, UP, etc., etc. Basically, I trimmed down everything. It now boils down to Ateneo and UP. So as in, I did all my research as like I even planned my JTA, the junior term abroad, if I were an Atenean kid. Parang, okay, ang third year ko is sa Japan. And then yung JSEC entry ko, it's an entrepreneurial venture sa Ateneo. Yung mga canteens nila, sometimes run by students. And yun, parang I already planned ano kaya yung ibebenta ko as a JSEC stall if I were an Atenean student. Ganong level of depth na talaga. So, pros and cons, etc., etc. Okay, walang certs, walang certificate of excellence yata yun or something. Basta, parang walang seal of excellence si UP when it comes to business administration and entrepreneurship. It's Ateneo who has that. But the degree program I had back then was malleable enough to to go into multiple features. Ganyan. So even if I weren't gonna be an accounting student, accounting professional, parang good pa rin siya as an entrepreneurial degree. But yeah, okay. Actually, short answer. The cost benefit analysis led me to Ateneo. Why am I in UP? Why did I graduate in UP? It was at that certain day, after kong kumain sa Army Navy, pumunta ako ng isang milk tea shop, tapos tumawag yung father ko. Anak, just use UP because ito na yung papasok ng risk. The risk is if bumagsak ka sa Ateneo, we cannot pay that tuition fee. And I know pretty well we're in the middle class sa socio-economic class. Okay, hindi nga namin talaga afford. Pero there's little hope in me with everything that I've read that the scholarship office ng Ateneo is generally forgiving. Parang they're generous in giving second chances. Just write about it. Parang is it a mental issue problem or is it something else? Ganyan. They give you all the support. So there's little hope in me. But I eventually followed the advice of mitigating that risk. Na okay, I'll learn to love the degree program later on. So yun, I eventually learned to love it and see and saw the merits of the degree program and the community in UP ganyan. So that's a narrative na I took on risk. So that's the first narrative. Second narrative, let's paint a picture of my Google Calendar at November 2021. So Sunday is my birthday, but it was a JPA event na with 100 accounting students na kami yung ako yung promotions head kinda. Then Monday or parang along Monday to Friday meron akong PA 114.1 na exam. It's the tanggalan course. Pag bumagsak ka sa ano na yun, exam na yun or sa subject na yun, tanggal ka na sa accounting ng UPD. Then in the same week there was a case competition na grand finals level. So what is at stake? It's 75,000 pesos per category. We won or like we joined 3 categories. So 75,000 times 3 if we get in or if we get the championship in each category. Then merong isa ulit championship na naman pero 20K naman at stake. But of course, yeah, it always is parang we always put our best foot forward. Case competition, ACADS, internship. It was my day one at Emma, this big company. I was the first Filipino intern there. So, it was online class. Parang sinisingit ko yung internship sa ACADS. Di ba? Kalat-kalat yung ACADS ng UP. So yun, parang 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Kalat-kalat sila. Then, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. dun na-night meetings ako with my case competition teammates. So, yun pala, yun, tatlo pa lang yun. Marami pa. Pero TLDR, meron pa akong associate director sa UPCAP and you know UPCAP is very tough. Or parang hindi naman, they're simulating the corporate work environment. So listo talaga lahat kumilos, parang of quality and yung at stake talaga is yung brand equity ng UPCAP. Like they're talking to sponsors and yung mga deals natin is 5-digit, 6-digit, even 7-digit deals with the corporate sponsors. So it's a high level of responsibility. And some other president ako ng something else, and then vice chairperson ako ng something else, and lots of in between. Like yung isang finance professor na nambabagsak. Ganon. It's also at the same time. So, lahat sumasabog, di ba? So, tago na lang natin sa pangalan. Joke lang. Yeah, isa siya sa mga alam kong nag-set precedent sa mga supposedly sumastanding na wala na palang pag-asa afterwards. Dahil yun yung turning point na okay, dahil sa stress mo or dahil sa 225. Pero yeah, it's a different story. Pero okay, what did I do? Apparently, there was a psychological help ng scholarship ko na they forced us na mag-avail nun. Kasi available yung slots with their medical professional. Mine, okay, parang hindi ko naman kailangan. Kinakaya ko pa naman, ganyan. Parang, hindi pa naman, in denial ako on symptoms of whatever burnout or depression or anxiety there could be. So, ayun, TLDR, yung suggestion ng psychologist is to assess my life on my priorities. Ano ba talagang gusto kong ma-squeeze out of life. And then, nag-dig deep kami into the details talaga. Parang, kung mas maganda ba na i-keep ko yung internship over over the student organization position or less competitions ba ako, or more ACADS ba, less ACADS, etc., etc. But what eventually happened is to de-risk things. Parang, eh, I I lessened my positions. Like lessened yung isang director level na position ko sa isang student organization. Then everything else remained. But it's just parang reprioritize. So that's how I manage risk, kinda. Parang either parang list everything and then force rank them and then quit yung mga last na priorities. So that's how I navigated risk throughout college.
You've had a lot of ano pala no, like roles and responsibilities, and we get it. Like parang the balancing thing of doing things like which risk you're gonna take is it's very important during college life. But then with
Mhm.
your professional career naman, like parang what is the biggest risk you've taken? Like and what did you learn from it? Like does it differ from back when you were in college?
Okay, okay. Uh, it's kinda similar. Parang I think they are interconnected. The risk I took in college is related to the risk I took in my early careers. Okay, let me paint you a picture. Majority of the college graduates of business schools, undergraduate na courses sa top universities in the Philippines, they end up in mga the top 1 to 3% end up in consulting. The upper 50% would either go to FMCGs of the world, finance, banking of the world, etc., etc. While the rest either pursue their passion or navigate their family businesses, ganyan. So yun, uh, why why am parang what's the risk that I took? I didn't get I didn't go into the usual route. The venture capital route is a very different route. Parang you ask around who's also in venture capital, only a few, only a handful. It's very risky as a career because pag nag-down yung company nyo, where do you jump out? Parang there's this issue of being a generalist and being a specialist. Some people become generalists in the first few years of their career. And jumping into venture capital means inherently na double click ka into finance world, and inherently you're already a finance specialist. So that's a risk that I took. But how I try to mitigate it, or parang how I work my narrative around it, this is the story I tell myself. Regardless of the industry I am in, as long as I am a problem solver, as long as I am of value to the company, then I think I can survive. Parang I think I would still have a job. Parang ganun. So, yun. Okay, okay. Let me paint you a clearer picture bakit risky in particular yung trabaho ko now. It's a venture capital firm in Web3. So, Web3, bumagsak siya 2022 era yata or 2021. 2022 actually, yeah. It's parang there's the Terra Luna crash in Q2 2022 when everything went down from almost, di ba, 100 kunwari, from down to, let's say, down to 2%, 1% value na lang of the original all-time high. Pero ang TLDR is, it's about, I am hoping that the reward I will be getting in after this risky move that I'm taking, it will pay off later on, let's say 5 years or 10 years later. Because yeah, venture capital is also in the business of taking risks. So yun, I think, I hope I answered the question, or let me know if you have clarifications.
That's naman. Pero you've talked about like the biggest risk in your professional career. Pero in your day-to-day life, like as a professional, are there like risks na you took?
It's also a risk to be promoted as a manager on top of UPD na ACADS. Mahirap yun. Lalo na face-to-face na yung last semester ko in UP Diliman. Like, it's first quarter 2023. And I am already wearing the marketing manager hat sa venture capital firm ko. The risk is, babagsak ako sa magna cum laude standing. that could be a risk. Another risk is matanggalan ako ng trabaho dahil underperforming ako dahil nag-aakad ako masyado. That's another risk, di ba? Um, what else? And a lot of things in between na matanggalan na ako ng trabaho tapos hindi pa ako nag-apply dun sa mga recruiting season. The recruiting season has already passed. So parang ako yung nag-settle ako with this firm. That's also a risk na yung opportunity cost ng consulting FMCG and friends, di ba? So those are the risks that I've faced. Okay, they have been praising my outputs. I've been submitting Photoshop files, ganyan, video files, and agad-agad ang mga sabi niya, parang, oh, you're really a magician. Ganyan, ganyan. Parang super bilis ko kasi mag-turn around na isang book na 26 pages, I edited it in like one overnight na edit. Tapos, video request, one overnight also. Or, biglang may talk yung partner levels namin, meron na agad yung slides within 4 hours. So, yan. So, medyo calculated risk siya na gusto naman pala, may mga signs na gusto ako ng firm, long term. And may mga signs na even if I fail or like even if I make a big mistake, they might be forgiving because I've already built a certain believable credential dun sa firm. So that's why I still continued na UP Diliman na degree on top of the manager hat. So yeah, that's how I navigated it on a day-to-day basis, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you talked about a lot of risks nga and like paano mo siya na-mitigate. Pero do you have like a standard or a certain system of how you address risk and like yung mga future challenges or risk mo pa in the future? Or is it more of like uh reacting situationally or like adapting?
Okay, okay. I react to different kinds of risk in different aspects of my life. So parang, let's bucket my life ba? Okay. Career and ACADS that time. So, pero career, kunwari. Then, let's say, financial stability. And then, let's say, health and wellness. So, risks, mitigation or minimization or acceptance dun sa three. Let's say, dun sa first, career. I already listed the end goal in mind na parang, okay, I wanted to have a high compensation plan right after college na hopefully high impact na role, um, impact and also high visibility sa C-suite executives, uh, something that I can be proud of also. So, and yun, that's how I'm comparing yung criteria of, basta parang that's how I'm doing it. Na I set the end goal and then I'm always questioning na is this activity leading towards that goal? Parang ganun. So that's for career. For finances, diba, there's usually aggressive and then there's the mix and then the conservative. So I just assess where am I in my life. I'm in the early 20s. So I can take aggressive risk. So, nandun ako sa mga 75, like in between the middle and the aggressive one. So, yun. So, what does it mean in my finances? Parang more stocks, more equities, more digital assets, ganyan. And then the rest, dun sa yung fixed na income in the form of high interest yield savings account, etc., etc. So that's finances ko. Then the rest, health and wellness. Usually there's risk. You can identify yung risk by tracking down yung lineage nyo. So, historically, yung parents and grandparents, ganyan. May risk ba on cardiovascular diseases, ganyan, diabetes, etc., etc. So, how I mitigate the risk naman on that aspect? Of course, yeah, exercise and then go to the gym, etc., etc. The usual stuff. So, diba, at least it's a comprehensive answer on different aspects on my life, parang how I mitigate risk.
Okay. Okay, so parang looking at the other side naman ng spectrum, no? Were there any challenges naman that you could not overcome? Like, how did you face those consequences? And what learnings did you get from these situations?
Even if I portray to the world that I'm almost always winning, I still am losing in some aspects. So, for instance, maraming case competitions na natalo ako. Then, may isang award na gustong-gusto kong makuha. Pero apparently, andun ako sa almost finish line. Tapos hindi ako yung nakuha. So, I think we, I think may nakita akong metaphor eh. So, kumbaga, kung ito yung ball ng pag-grieve dun sa challenge na yon, then ito yung jar, parang hindi naman lumiliit yung pain eh. Yung jar yung lumalaki. So, parang we just grow kahit na nandun yung pain. Parang ganun. That's how I'm kind of overcoming it. Na slowly forgetting about the losses I've had in multiple aspects of my life. Nandun pa rin siya, pero you kind of feel numb about it. You remind yourself of the good things you have in life. Parang, okay, cute pa rin naman ako kahit natalo ako doon. Ganun. Or at least meron akong 10,000 dun sa bank account ko. Or at least naka-own na ako dun sa isang mini quiz or whatever. Parang, I still look at the mini joys of life and remind myself and remind myself of the good things. And that's how I grow my jar. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes naman. Pero in terms of learnings, do you have like any learnings that you took? Oh, wait, sorry. Do you have any learnings as both a student and a professional na parang in line with the risk that you took?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Looking back, and let's say yung mga losses, they happen, ganyan. Na-challenge ako tapos hindi ko na-overcome. Even if I turned back in time and I I had that choice, do I do it? Do I not do it? I'd still do it. Because what I eventually figured out is losses are redirections. They allow you to learn na, okay, hindi ka pala para dito, para doon ka pala sa kabila. Ganun. Uh, so parang that's how I look at it na we don't dwell on the negative or parang on the pagkadapa ganyan. Pero yes, by the moment we feel it, syempre it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel the emotions. May time talaga, may face talaga na ganun. Then eventually day by day, as I've said, parang look at the micro joys in life. The Japanese ikigai. Actually, okay, let me bust a misconception on ikigai. We always think of ikigai as the long term and the big kind of goal in life. But the actual definition of ikigai is finding the joy in the micro moments of the everyday stuff. So, parang that's how they see it. Parang, okay, uminom ako ng matcha tea. Ang sarap ng matcha tea. Buti na lang may matcha leaves dun sa plantation dito sa province namin, always available. Parang, it's the appreciation of those micro moments. So yun, yeah, uh, and I hope the audiences would realize na yes, we can dream big sa mga large written whatever na you're passionate about, the world can pay you. But at the end of the day, it's the mundane things na, oh, okay, ang sarap ng longganisa na kinain ko today. Or, okay, hindi nag-crack yung internet ko dun sa podcast, etc. So, that's how I'm learning about it. Na, okay, let me summarize what I've said. Number one is, uh, losses are redirections. And number two, in order for me to overcome or grow my jar dun sa metaphor ko of a ball in a jar, I need to appreciate the micro moments and the joys in life even more. So yeah.
Or like in terms of learning kunwari in the classroom or in any other setup, like how does continuously learning help in like mitigating life's risk?
Okay, you mean having the openness for new ideas, ganyan, or getting more resources. Sige, let's go in that route. In this age of AI, you all are at risk. We are at risk. So it's always about being updated on how to do stuff. Like, tools change. Let's say, okay, kung ang 2020 era, pag marunong ka parang non-negotiable na marunong ka mag-Zoom. Pero let's say it's 2030, marunong ka ba mag-chat GPT? Parang, what if yung new norm is mag-chat GPT? So, the tools do change. Okay, the Zoom is now GPT. Pero yung ability to learn how to learn, it doesn't go away. So you need to know what's the best learning style for you. Are you an audio visual learner? Are you a long 500 pager PDF reader na learner? Are you a chika kind of learner na, uy, friend, alam mo ba na yung sine and cosine, magka-relate sila. Parang, when you converse and relate into day-to-day life, are you that kind of learner? So, yun, find your way, learning style, and then, let's say, maximize and stick to it, parang ganun. And then, maybe, if akala mo wala kang time towards learning, make learning passive. So, okay, what are the actual day-to-day stuff that you could do? I-automate mo yung Google and Siri such that nag-feed yung news sa'yo. So, hey Siri, what's the news for today? Ganyan. Or, hey Google, what's the news for today? Such that updated ka on whatever is happening on the business side of things, on the resources side of things, on, let's say, yung industry na gusto mo. Let's say, I'm working in crypto, so I need to be updated on everything crypto. So yun, automate passively yung learning. Then, what else? Network. Expand your network. You'll realize that the greatest linkages in life happen through the friends of your friends. Well, okay. Mahabang explanation, pero TLDR. Um, widen your network, and you'll never know who will come in when it comes to, let's say, bibili ka, nagbebenta ka ng FMCG products, then yung kilala mo pala sa kindergarten na MTOP, yung pala yung magiging supplier mo. Or yung nakilala mo sa Math Olympiad could be your teammate into your case competition. So widen your network. So yeah, those are my learnings about learning uh, na let me summarize ulit. You top of mind, you need to learn how to learn, and practical tips. Number one, automate learning, and number two, widen your network, and because you will learn through your network also. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that, Gemma. So parang for our second to the last, I think, every risk has its own reward naman. No? Like parang hindi naman yung tinuturo sa atin like in school, like parang if there's a risk, there's a reward. Would you say that every risk is worth it? Like, paano mo ba na-determine kung ano yung okay, like ano yung worth it for you? Like, which risks?
Yes, yeah. You can only connect the dots looking back. So we do not have the benefit of retrospective insights. Parang what I would say to that question is, you just uh, feel it and check your risk tolerance. Check your risk tolerance. So let's say if I were in my middle ages, or let's say mid-career, I probably should not be in this risky industry. If I am in the upper socioeconomic class, then potentially I can do an entrepreneurial venture and still have my cushion. If I am in the lower middle class, then potentially I don't have cushion. So yeah, realistically, I might not venture into entrepreneurial ventures. So yeah, the point is, you just take it, you just know what are your parameters in life, and then parang know what your risk tolerance is, and then just make the decision. And even if mali yung decision na napili mo, okay lang. Because at the end of you can kumbaga kung nagsisale ka, you can redirect your sale towards whatever the direction is. At the end of the day, no matter how long, no matter how difficult, you arrive at your desired destination. So that's how I'll think about it.
Yeah, okay. So parang for, actually, I agree. Like, tawag dito, like, What's your risk tolerance? Like parang that's how you choose. I think yun din yung tinuturo eh. Like parang it really depends on your risk tolerance on which risk you're gonna take. Like in class,
Yeah.
in a finance class, diba ganun? And you really can apply it in your life. Like parang in your personal life, personal choices, and in your careers. But like for our last question na, like
Yep.
now that you're here naman na Jammer, no? So parang
Mhm.
what role do you think does seeking advice from an experienced individual like you play in the decision-making process of choosing risks, no, when it comes to taking risks?
Yes. The advice I'd like to give is seek for mentors, get their advice, then juxtapose their advice to your life condition, or take every advice with a grain of salt. A key rule of thumb is if if that person is living the life, that person is living the life you wanted, then potentially, mm, ano, they might have the formula. Parang what if yung binigay niya pala talaga is the right formula? Pero if hindi niya sinasabuhay yung buhay na gusto mong maging or makamit, then medyo magtanong ka na ng slide. Kasi what if may mga hidden intention siya? What if it's a multi-level marketing scheme pala? What if it's something, it's not a mutual relationship na 50-50. Kumbaga, nilileech ka lang pala niya. Ini-extract niya lang pala lahat ng value out of you. So, yun. Um, okay, pero let me side more on the seeking advice from professionals. But let's still continue doing that because, okay, let me give you some narratives on why we should do it more. I'm standing on the shoulders of the giants. So, kumbaga, who I am now is a product of the multiple legacies that people have imparted in me. Let's say, yung case competition ko, na nine-time case competition champion, di ba? It actually started because one mentor generously gave me six what's the standard and how do you become an outlier output. Parang ganun. So, that was very crucial in accelerating my case competition journey. On career naman, my GCash boss always told me na, Jemar, mahal yung mga kagaya mo. Parang yung skills na listo kumilos, mabilis yung turnaround, and then top level insights, problem solver, etc. etc. Ganun. So, ang in-advise niya naman sa akin rather is matutong kailan promeno na okay, Jemar, pwede kang hindi mag-reply or dapat hindi ka mag-reply kapag weekends. Set some limits, 6 p.m. onwards na you won't work beyond that, ganyan, etc. So, yun naman yung tinuro sa akin ng ex-Gcash boss ko na kasi sabi niya, if hindi mo tinigilan yung overwork, you might eventually lead to burnout. So, yun. And I'm always remembering that. So, uh, TLDR, um, you are accelerating your life by getting the golden tips from those who are there. But take those advice with a grain of salt. Like as I've said, na if they are living the life that you wanted, then potentially get it. So that's about it.
Okay, thank you for that, Jamar. So before we end this episode and this podcast, since this is
Yes,
the
yes,
last,
Jamar.
installation of the work podcast, do you have any additional tips naman that you wanna share with our listeners? Kasi most of them are from UPCBA then. With regards to risk taking, like in our college.
My life goal is to make more lives remarkable, like remarkable pero with the Jades, because I'm JMR, diba? And I'm always on the lookout on how to make more lives better. Um, bloom where you're planted. Baka yun na lang siguro yung pinaka main advice ko. Then second advice is you didn't get this far only to go this far. That's the golden tagline ng mga nagwa 114 kami. Pero of course, applicable pa rin dun sa mga BSBA students na hindi ka pumasa for UP for nothing. Na andito ka with all the valedictorians of the world, with all the best of the world for a reason. And if you're doubting yourself, try to look at the micro moments of success. Parang, okay, 5 ako today, pero at least una ako dun sa arts. Or at least nag-reply sa akin yung crush ko. Or whatever. So, like,
Sana nga
pick
mag-reply.
whatever micro moment in life, di ba? So, kahit hindi mag-reply, at least meron kang options. De, joke lang. Or like, at least alam ko sa sarili ko na cute ako. Parang ganun. So, yun. Yeah, so I think most of you would get na yung point ng second advice na you didn't get this far only to go this far. Just appreciate the small moments and it hopefully could push you. Pero okay, let me point back to the first point na bloom where you're planted. I am actually in am restaff in function na hindi theoretically ko gusto. Like, I've been trained as a marketer. Double-click marketing ako all throughout my life. Pero look at me now. I'm in a finance and operations position. Nasaan na yung marketing doon? Di ba? Parang operations, boring. De, joke lang. BA 105 and 106, Dawai, yeah, right? He usually asks people, anong gusto yung career in life? And most people would answer marketing, 50%, finance, 30 to 20%, then operations HR, mga 10 or 5%. So, Jemar, nasa operations with all the credentials. So, point is, bloom where you're planted. You still try to make stuff beautiful. And how I made life even beautiful is I redefined operations as AI integrations, automation. I tried to make it sexy. So parang I took on ad hoc jobs, I took on more stretch projects, ganyan, to make operations sexy. So yun. And that's one narrative. Another quick narrative is if you know Ralph Kagalawan, he's my dorm mate in UP Diliman. Um, he came from scratch, na no internship, no interview experiences, no resumes. And then look at him now having a finance venture capital as his first internship. Diba? Parang, it's tough to get into venture capital, even summa cum laude standing. It's difficult to get there. It's a matter of spotting spotting BS. Venture capital is about vibing with people, looking at the finance and numbers, being smart enough to know what's BS and what's not. Pero yeah, TLDR, we happen to be in the same dorm together. And then, yeah, unexpectedly helped him accelerate his career. So yun, even if di man si Ralph yung maging dormmate ko I would still bloom wherever I'm planted, whoever the dormmate may be.
Well, Gemar, like we really,
Yeah.
really appreciate you joining us today. And despite your busy schedule, no, you're here with
Yes,
us.
thank you.
And of course, thank you also for sharing your experiences and knowledge with us. Rest assured that we'll take your tips to the heart and to action. Like it's really helpful for me. Like especially that I'm graduating or actually both kami nila si Ata graduating na soon.
Yes.
At least ako next
Nice, congrats in advance.
yeah,
Congrats in
thank
advance.
you. Hopefully, malis na ako ng UP soon.
Unless meron kang photo with the
No, I
oblation
don't
sa
like
harap.
really. Hindi ako
Fun fact,
nag-take.
meron akong photo. Pero imbis na ma-delay, na-advance ako. Wow.
Wow! Wait
Kasi
lang.
4.5 yung accounting.
Yeah,
Naging
yeah, yeah.
4.0 kasi BA. And yeah, the quick story is, hindi ako na force evict, nag-voluntary exit ako.
Ay, same.
Like Max. I think like Max. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nag-voluntary exit kami. Tayong lahat. Let's
But,
go.
di ba, it's more fun in BA. Anyway,
Also,
kasi,
so most of the narratives I shared here are first time to be shared in public. Like, yeah. So
mm,
for the go, let's go.
Oh, very honored.
for simple,
Yes.
when did you ship that? Like, when did you ship?
After 116 nga lang. So it was
Okay.
too late, pero I crammed it. So
Yeah,
okay, risk na naman. So pero it took off. Let's go.
Thank you so much for all your advice. And also to our listeners, thank you so much for being with us in this three-part podcast. Sorry. We hope you found this
Dagdagan natin ng
episode
dalawa. Ikaw
last
lang,
na
joke.
to. But yeah, we hope you found this episode helpful as you face different challenges and navigate your own path.
Again, thank you so much for joining us. Always remember, let's work it together. Ayan.